Say what? She did what? She bought furniture. But she paid cash, right? Huh? What? She opened a furniture account. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? So, okay, all right, I'm good. So what does this mean now? We can't close. You mean we can't close because she bought furniture? I'm done. Today, I am going to tell you 5 things that you need to know before you buy your first house. These are things that are gonna keep you from having that situation that you just saw, which was a real life situation, from happening to you. So make sure you grab your pencil and paper, pen and pad, whatever you wanna call it. Make sure you grab those things so that we can get started. Dive in. If you are super excited about learning these tips, please go ahead and give this video a 2 thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so that you can be notified every single time I post a new video, which is going to be every Tuesday. Let's go. Now, I have got to tell you guys this story because it was like the craziest thing. One of the craziest things that's happened in my real estate career. This is a huge tip for you to please make sure that you look out to see whether or not there are little critters in the house that you are about to buy. Because I was actually representing the sellers on the seller on a deal, recent deal, and the buyers, for whatever reason, which I was not representing them, they had their own agent. The buyers did not do a home inspection on this property. And even though they were given the seller's disclosure, that was to their discretion. It wasn't that we, told them they couldn't have one done. They very much could have had one done. They just chose not to for whatever reason. And therefore, when we got to the appraisal point in the transaction, when that happened, the appraisal came back and the appraiser said basically, hey, you guys have bat poop in the attic, you need to get it out. Well, this came as a huge surprise to all of us. We had no idea due to the fact that there were renters that had been renting in that house for forever, and they mentioned nothing of hearing things flying around in the attic whatsoever during that time. No. So I'm not sure when the bats got there, but they were totally there when the appraiser was there. Not a cool thing. So of course, this became an expense to the sellers, and they were the ones that actually had to pay for the animal rescue people to come in and to clean up all the bat poop and escort the bats out of the house. Had we not found that, of course, these buyers would have been living with bats in their homes, and I'm sure nobody wants to live with a bat in their home. No. So in giving you these tips today, I'm actually going to start with tip number 5, and I'm going to work my way down to number 1. Tip number 5, do not get emotional. Don't get emotional. Don't get emotional. This is your first home. It does not have to be your forever home. Like, this is an exciting time for many of you. It's the first time for many of you. And of course, you've been watching a buttload of HGTV. Stop watching HGTV. It's TV. And it ain't even real reality TV. I'm just saying. If you get emotional, if you become emotionally attached to the house before it's even yours, you are setting yourself up for an extremely stressful situation. Second of all, even if you find a home or you get discouraged because you're not finding your dream home and you have a $1 budget, then your agent needs to sit down and talk with you about what's realistic, because it's not a whole lot we can do with $1. I must say though, there are lots of things that you can do to a home if you decide that your first home is your forever home. Go into that home thinking, what is the potential that I could make with this house? For sure, what's the potential? What can I add on later? I'll be here for at least 30 years. So what can I add on as I go? Or what are some things that I could paint? What is, you know, if the floors need changing, I could change the floors. If I need to rearrange the house, is that even possible with this particular house? Those are some things that you definitely need to look at for sure. But please don't get emotional during this process. I like to encourage our clients to definitely, you know, don't fall in love with the house until we have signed and the money has been sent to the sellers. That's when we fall in love for sure. Tip number 4, please ask for lender recommendations. I have so many buyers who come in and of course they have either one of two things. They have no idea who to ask to help them with the lender process, what bank to go to, that sort of thing. Or number 2, they went ahead and got started not knowing and they just went with the first person who told them that they would pre-approve them for some money. And I do not highly recommend that. No. So please ask for lender recommendations, and this is why. If you go with the first person that you saw on Zillow advertisement, or the first person that sent you one of those mail pieces in the mail that said that they could get you pre-approved already, and they know nothing about your work history, they know nothing about your income, they know nothing about anything on your credit, they haven't pulled it, but they told you they could get you pre-approved, please do not just go to that first person. They can't pre-approve you without knowing that information. Very, very important. The best thing that I would do would be one of these 2 things. Ask some really close family and friends, people that you like, know, and trust, and ask them who they used to purchase their home, and ask them about their experience that they had. Did they have a positive experience, or did they have a negative experience? And then know what you need. So if you need somebody who is good with being patient and educating you, then that would be the type of lender that you're also looking for, especially if you know nothing about what to do, and most of us in this stage don't, and that's okay. There are people, amazing people out there who love to educate while they do their job. Ask your real estate agent who they would recommend. More than likely, they have worked with several different loan officers, and they know the ones who are really good at what they do, who don't waste time, who are not gonna risk your money, because I guarantee you, if you end up connecting with a loan officer who is not diligent, or a loan officer who is not experienced and also not working with a mentor to help them along the way, then this could kill your deal. And then that means you and me are losing some money and time. And ain't nobody got time for that. I'm just saying. Tip number 3. Please do not apply for any credit whatsoever when you're trying to buy a house. I have seen the craziest things. I don't care if you're about to buy a house during Christmas. This is not the time to start to, you know, open up a new credit account because your kids need their Christmas and you realize you couldn't spend the money in your regular checkings account, but you needed them to have a Christmas. This is not the time for that. You will ruin everybody's Christmas, yours and mine included. You don't want to open up, you know, a furniture account. This is not the time to go and pick out your furniture. The house isn't yours yet, so you're buying furniture for a house that is not yours. The house isn't yours until you've signed and the money has been sent to the seller. That's when the house is yours. So anytime in between that, the house does not belong to you. You can't fix the house. You can't definitely buy furniture and open up a new furniture account to kill the deal. I'm just saying. And that is not gonna be the lender's fault. That's gonna be your fault. To tip number 2, which is the lender will check your credit again right before closing. So they're gonna check your credit twice. They're gonna check it before you are pre-approved, and they're gonna check it right before closing. And they're gonna check your employment as well. So what this means is that you don't need to quit your job, you don't need to get fired by your boss, and you definitely don't need to stop paying your bills before closing, because your credit and your employment history will be checked again before closing. I'm just saying. And now we are finally to tip number 1. Shh. Thank you. Tip number 1, there is no way that you can buy a home with absolutely no money. Now, I know many of you, if you live in the rural areas like we do here, we serve a lot of people in the rural development, and so there is a loan here that's called the USDA 100% no money down loan. And yes, as true as that is, it means just that you bring no money down. You have to have some money in order to purchase or be a part of the process. All of those traditional mortgage type of loans, these still require that you be able to show funds in your account to be able to pay at least a couple of months worth of mortgage ahead. And then additional to that, these are a few expenses that I'm about to tell you now that you actually need to have, and that is earnest money, which is money down, good faith money that lets you know, hey, we're serious with our offer, we are willing to risk this amount due to the fact that you are taking your property off of the market because we said we're good for it. That money you gotta have, and it's called earnest money. The home inspection is not mandatory, highly recommended. A home inspection is just where you hire a professional to come in and they will overlook the home and tell you good, bad, ugly what they see, and then they will offer some recommendations as to who might need to do some further investigation on that particular thing. If the sellers are not willing to remediate the issue, then there is a chance that it could be a deal breaker for you and you do not want to move forward on the purchase of that home. And so, yeah, that money that you just spent on the home inspection is totally non-refundable. But aside from the home inspection, there's also a potential termite inspection. Your loan may call for one of those as well that you would need to be prepared to pay for. And then of course, any other types of inspections that you feel like you need to have that require any type of fee, that's when all of that happens. And then of course, you need money for the appraisal. There are many loan companies that do not cover the appraisal for you. So having that $450 to $500 set aside for the appraisal is something that is very, very important. If you have heard of some type of inspection and you want to know the difference between a home inspection and appraisal, they are different. So definitely let me know in the comments below, and I do not mind doing another video to go over the specs on that. And then of course, closing costs, which are supposed to be a buyer's expense. These are like attorney fees and any of your loan fees that are involved there. All of that is really the buyer's responsibility, but in some situations, in some areas, the seller is willing to take on some or all of those costs. It just depends on where you are. I know here where we are, it is not unheard of that the seller will not contribute in some way to those closing costs. But once again, in case they don't, and if you really want the house, that is money that you would have to bring to the table. Money is definitely involved, no matter how you put it, when it comes to purchasing your first home. Save it. Save it. And I will bring you this last golden nugget, which actually segues from the tip number 1 that I gave you. Is I have noticed that when dealing with buyers and buyers who don't tend to have as much money, like they came into the deal, they're really trying to make things work, they don't have a lot in their savings, and they really don't have much to put towards those extra expenses that I just told you about, and literally they're almost living paycheck to paycheck. It is so stressful for them, and because it feels so stressful for them, the energy is then translated to their agent. But I do like to highly recommend to people to come into the case, into the situation with some money. But you do not want to go in the red during this time. The loan officer is going to require several pieces of documents from you, and one of them being they're going to need to see copies of your bank statement. And so if you end up, you can barely pay your bills, plus you need extra funds in order to cover your home inspection and earnest money and your appraisal, all of which these things will be coming out within any time between the first day of going binding in the contract to day 20. That money is going to be coming out of your account super, super fast. And so if it ends up being a struggle for you to have anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 taken out of your account within the next 20 days, then I do not recommend that you make this step, because it has to be there. And not only that, but the loan officer is going to ask to see at least 2 months worth of income in your bank account as well. while you're still paying your bills. Because remember, we don't stop paying our bills during this time. They're going to pull your credit again, and if a late payment shows up on that, it's going to totally screw the deal. So we've noticed that the people who have more money set aside, everything feels so much smoother. Those people seem to have a less stressful experience, and it's just so much better for all parties involved. Just be patient. The right house is right there for you at the right time. And so you've just got to believe that. You've got to believe that all things are going to work out for your good at the right time. But really try to set yourself up for success. There are so many more tips that I could give you, but of course I only promised 5 for the sake of time today. I really hope that you enjoyed them, and of course if you did, please go ahead and give this a thumbs up if you heard something that was super valuable. Don't forget to subscribe as well. I'm going to be giving lots of amazing content for my first-time home buyers so that you guys have a better feeling about what to do. And I'm even thinking to myself, like, 5 is really not enough. Like, there are so many other things that I could have talked about today. I am going to give you guys a gift. Yes, it's an awesome gift because I want to see you succeed. I want to hear about your amazing experience. I have a list of 20 things, and all of these 20 things, some of them will be traditional, some of them will be like, oh my gosh, I never knew this. A list of 20 items. It's a little PDF file that I have for you that I would love to send your way. And so if you would love that gift of my 20 truthful tips, then please push the link below. Make sure you tap into that link and I will send that to you right away. I think you're gonna get some great value from that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I am wishing you peace and many, many blessings, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.